strength of the nucleophile. So still two rules are there. That rules we will discuss today now. Okay. So now here fourth rule. Okay. So in this fourth rule, first of all, I want to talk about the Lewis base. In the 11th class chemistry, you might have studied about the Lewis base. What is the definition of the Lewis base? Lewis base is the electron pair donor. Electron pair donor is a Lewis base. Clear? Then what is nucleophilicity? What is nucleophilicity? Nucleophilicity is electron pair donating tendency. Electron pair donating tendency. Now, if you see broadly, these two are same only, you see. Therefore, I can come to a conclusion that strength of the nucleophile, strength of a nucleophile directly proportional to basic nature. Strength of a nucleophile directly proportional to basic nature. If basic nature is more, then nucleophilicity will also be more. If nucleophilicity is high, then the basic nature will also be high. So please copy it quickly, everyone. Nucleophilicity and basic strength both are directly proportional. Here, let me take one example also to make you to understand well. Clear? So here I want to take one example. So see clearly now. Now, this is one compound. It is called as what? Aniline. Similarly, let me take here one more compound. So this is called as what? Cyclohexyl amine. So here nitrogen carry one lone pair. Nitrogen carry one lone pair. Clear? So please try to understand here. You see now pi sigma lone pair in conjugation. So resonance takes place in this way. Clear? So here I can write that lone pair is participating in the resonance. Lone pair is participating in the resonance. But here you see, in case of this one, see, now in cyclohexyl amine, there is no conjugation, and there is no resonance then. No conjugation and no resonance. Therefore, nitrogen can donate lone pair to someone very easily. This nitrogen can donate lone pair to someone very easily, but this nitrogen cannot donate because that lone pair is the part of the resonance. Therefore, which is a strong base? Cyclohexylamine. Which is a strong nucleophile? Again cyclohexylamine. So cyclohexylamine is a strong base as well as strong nucleophile. Cyclohexylamine, I am writing here, it is a strong base. At the same time, it is a strong nucleophile also. Strong base, at the same time, it is a strong nucleophile also. Hope you are understanding this point here. So, nucleophilicity directly proportional to the basic strength. Followed? Now let me move to the next slide here. So this is the fifth rule and even last rule to explain the strength of nucleophile. This is the last rule and even fifth rule. So here I want to explain this rule by taking one example. Here this is one ion I want to take. Similarly, this is one ion I want to take here. Okay, so what is the name of this one? Ethoxide ion. And what is the name of this one? Tertiary butoxide ion. Tertiary butoxide ion. So see clearly everyone, around this oxygen only one alkyl group is there. But you see around this oxygen three alkyl groups are there, you see. Three alkyl groups are there around this oxygen. Therefore, here what happened? Around the oxygen, crowding is high. Crowding is high. Okay. But here what happened? Around the oxygen, crowding is less. Crowding is less. So which can donate electron pair easily? Where crowding is less, that can donate electron pair easily. Therefore, this can donate electron pair easily. Ethoxide ion. Therefore, which is a stronger nucleophile? Ethoxide ion is a stronger nucleophile. Remember everyone, it is a stronger nucleophile. Why? Because it can donate electron pair easily. Why it can donate? Why? Because in that one crowding is less. Since crowding is less, it can donate electron pair easily. While in tertiary butoxide, crowding is high, you see, around oxygen. So it cannot donate electron pair that easily. Clear everyone? So what is the statement of this fifth rule? Okay, so here let me give the statement of the fifth rule, that is the nucleophilicity. Nucleophilicity is inversely proportional to crowding. Nucleophilicity is inversely proportional to crowding. Crowding is less means nucleophilicity will be more. Similarly, crowding is more means nucleophilicity will be less. Hope you are able to understand. Clear? Now, in the next slide, I want to summarize all these rules. So, please try to understand here. I want to summarize according to first rule. Conjugate bases are stronger nucleophiles. Conjugate bases are stronger nucleophiles. Clear? According to second rule, electronegativity is inversely proportional to nucleophilicity. Electronegativity is inversely proportional to nucleophilicity. Now, according to the third one, here I told you regarding the solvent. So remember everyone, in polar protic solvents, nucleophilicity directly proportional to size, whereas in polar aprotic solvents, nucleophilicity is inversely proportional to size. So in polar protic, nucleophilicity directly proportional to size. In polar aprotic, they are inversely proportional to the size. Total 5 rules are there in this slide. I summarized 3 rules. In the next one, 2 rules we'll be seeing. I hope you are all copying this one. Now, coming to the point of the next one, 4th rule. So, now, according to the 4th rule, see clearly, nucleophilicity is directly proportional to basic strength. And according to 5th rule, nucleophilicity is inversely proportional to crowding. So please copy. So these are the 5 rules, or we can say 5 factors which affect the nucleophilicity. Right now, in the next slide, now we are going to see here. Okay, now here we are going to see types of nucleophilic substitution reactions. Put the heading, types of nucleophilic substitution reactions. Okay, remember 3 types of nucleophilic substitution reactions are there in our syllabus. What are the 3 types? First one SN2, second one SNI, third one, first one SN1, second one SN2, third one SNI. So what is the meaning of SN1? What is the meaning of SN1? SN1 is unimolecular nucleophilic substitution. SN2 bimolecular nucleophilic substitution. Next, SNI intramolecular nucleophilic substitution. Clear? So total 3 types of nucleophilic substitution reactions are possible. SN1, SN2, next SNI. Followed. So now we are going to start with SN2. First SN2 we will see, then we will come to SN1, then after we are going to see SNI mechanism. So now coming to the point of the, first of all, put the heading everyone, SN2 mechanism. SN2 mechanism. What is the complete name of SN2 mechanism? Bimolecular nucleophilic substitution. Bimolecular nucleophilic substitution. Clear? In SN2 mechanism, one important point I want to discuss here. Okay, so see clearly in this mechanism. In this mechanism, leaving group leaves while nucleophile is attacking. While nucleophile is attacking. So this is one important point in the SN2 mechanism, that leaving group leaves while nucleophile is attacking. What is the meaning of this one? That means the departure of the leaving group, attacking of the nucleophile happens at same time. Departure of leaving group and attacking of nucleophile happens at the same time. I hope you understood my point here. Departure of leaving group as well as attack of the nucleophile happens at the same time. Clear? So that is the reason why what happened in SN2 mechanism, no intermediate is formed. No intermediate is formed, and it is a one-step mechanism. So just now I told you, leaving group departure and nucleophile attack happens at the same time. That is the reason why it is a one-step mechanism. Reaction happens only in one step. Reaction happens only in the one step. And remember, this is the most important thing, that no intermediate is formed in SN2 mechanism. No intermediate is formed in SN2 mechanism. I will show you with mechanism. There you can understand clearly why intermediate is not formed, all these things. No intermediate is formed and it is a one-step mechanism. Clear? Okay, let me move to the next slide here. Okay, so now see clearly here, R is bonded to leaving group. Clear? It is reacting with a nucleophile. So try to understand my point here. R is bonded to a leaving group and it is reacting with a nucleophile. Now see, try to understand this one. This bond is there now. It is called as the bonding molecular orbital. I think you might have studied in the chemical bonding chapter, molecular orbital theory. So according to molecular orbital theory, two types of orbitals are possible: bonding molecular orbitals and anti-bonding molecular orbitals. So remember everyone, anti-bonding molecular orbital will be exactly opposite to bonding. So this is called as the anti-bonding molecular orbital. Remember everyone, anti-bonding molecular orbital. So anti-bonding molecular orbital will be exactly opposite to bonding molecular orbital, exactly opposite. So nucleophile has to fill the electrons in anti-bonding molecular orbital. Nucleophile has to fill the electrons in anti-bonding molecular orbital. That means here, try to understand, nucleophile slowly starts forming a bond with R, and leaving group slowly starts departing out. Nucleophile slowly starts forming a bond with R, and leaving group slowly starts departing. Remember, nucleophile have a negative charge, leaving group also have a negative charge. So this is called as what you know, transition state. Transition state. It is highly unstable. Why it is unstable also we are going to see in the next slide. Transition state, which is the highly unstable state. Clear? Now, here, if we continue this reaction, then what happened? Nucleophile is bonded with R, and leaving group comes out in the form of the negative ion. This is the complete SN2 mechanism. Now, try to understand, this is only one-step mechanism, you see clearly. One-step mechanism. Followed everyone? Next, one more important thing is that try to understand here, this step is the RDS step of the mechanism. That means rate determining step of the mechanism. It is the rate determining step. That is the very important one. Clear? Now, in the rate determining step, you see nucleophile is filling the electrons in the anti-bonding molecular orbital. I think you know this anti-bonding molecular orbital will be having higher energy. According to molecular orbital theory, anti-bonding molecular orbital possess very high energy. It possesses very high energy. Clear? So now tell me, which nucleophile will fill the electrons in high energy? Which nucleophile is favorable here? Remember, only strong nucleophile can fill the electrons in higher energy orbital. Strong nucleophile with high concentration should be there. Strong nucleophile with high concentration. So remember everyone, strong nucleophiles favor SN2 mechanism, because only strong nucleophiles can fill the electrons in anti-bonding molecular orbitals. Weak nucleophiles cannot fill the electrons in anti-bonding molecular orbitals. Remember, only strong can do this one. Therefore, strong nucleophiles can favor SN2 mechanism. Can favor SN2 mechanism. I hope you copied everyone. Let me move to the next slide now. Now, once again, I am showing you the mechanism here. R is bonded to the leaving group, that is reacting with the nucleophile in the RDS step. That means rate determining step. Okay. Now, see clearly in the RDS step, this substrate is participating, this nucleophile, both are participating in the RDS step. Therefore, rate of SN2 directly proportional to concentration of the substrate, at the same time concentration of the nucleophile. Both are participating in the RDS step. Therefore, rate depends on both concentration of substrate into concentration of nucleophile. Okay, substrate only one molecule is there, so power 1. This is also power 1. Okay, so if you add the powers, then that is called order of the reaction. Adding the powers is known as the order of the reaction. About this order, still you will understand clearly in chemical kinetics chapter. So if you add, you will get 2 here. If you add the powers, you will get 2. Clear? One more important point. Now you see in the RDS step, only one molecule of substrate, one molecule of nucleophile is participating. So total molecularity is 2. One molecule of substrate, one molecule of nucleophile are participating, and hence molecularity is 2. So now try to understand my point here. So here SN2, in SN2, see clearly, this 2 is indicating molecularity. That 2 is molecularity, and N is nucleophile, S is substitution. N is the nucleophile, S is the substitution. So that is the reason why it is called as the bimolecular nucleophilic substitution. That is SN2 mechanism. Bimolecular nucleophilic substitution. That is SN2 mechanism. I hope it is clear. What is 2 indicating? 2 is indicating the molecularity. Remember everyone. 2 is indicating the molecularity. And rate depends on both substrate concentration as well as nucleophile concentration. Rate depends on both. Hope it is clear to everyone. Hope it is clear to everyone. I think you are understanding. Is it clear? Right. Let me move to the next slide then. And now in this slide, we are going to see the energy profile diagram of SN2 mechanism. Energy profile diagram of SN2 mechanism. Energy profile diagram of SN2 mechanism. Okay, so here I am going to draw the graph. Energy profile diagram is nothing but graphical representation. So on one axis, potential energy. Next, on one more axis, reaction coordinate. Clear? Potential energy versus reaction coordinate. What is the meaning of reaction coordinate? Reaction coordinate means at a particular time. For example, at let us think one reaction is continuing, one reaction is taking 10 minutes to complete. For example, I am telling. So I want to know between 5th and 6th minute, how much reaction happened? What is the progress of the reaction? That is called reaction coordinate. So reaction coordinate, nothing but progress of the reaction. Clear? So if you draw the graph, then the graph will be somewhere like this. Clear? These are the reactants and these are the products. Now you see here we get the transition state. Hope it is clear to everyone. And now tell me, transition state is formed at higher energy or lower energy, you see? Higher energy. That is the reason why transition state is less stable. Okay, because it is formed at higher energy. And remember, less stable cannot be called as intermediate. Less stable cannot be called as intermediate. That is the reason why in SN2 there is no intermediate. In SN2 there is no intermediate because of this reason only. Followed everyone? Now, one more important thing I want to discuss. You see in this graph, how many peaks are there? Number of peaks in the graph, only one peak is there. That is the reason why SN2 is a one-step mechanism. SN2 is a one-step mechanism. So remember, number of peaks is equal to number of steps in the mechanism. In organic chemistry, this rule is valid everywhere. Number of peaks is equal to number of steps in the mechanism. Since only one peak is there, so only one step is observed in the mechanism. I hope it is clear to everyone. Why it is one step mechanism means only one peak is there in this curve. And transition state is less stable. So why it is less stable? Why? Because it is formed at higher energy. Higher energy means less stable only ultimately. Clear? So let us move to the next slide then. Now here, see, I told you an important point, that is strong nucleophiles. Strong nucleophiles favor SN2 mechanism. Why? Why? Because strong nucleophiles only can fill the electrons in anti-bonding molecular orbitals. So only strong nucleophile favor this SN2 mechanism. So here, one important point I want to discuss is that all anionic nucleophiles, all anionic nucleophiles are strong nucleophiles. All anionic nucleophiles are strong nucleophiles. This is one important point I want to discuss here. Anion means what? Negative ion. So all anionic nucleophiles are stronger nucleophiles. Stronger nucleophiles. Okay, so here let me take some examples for anionic nucleophiles. OH minus, next NH2 minus, next R minus, next RO minus, the next one RS minus. Clear everyone? Next SH minus, etc. You see, these are all the anionic nucleophiles. So anionic nucleophiles are always strong nucleophiles and they favor which mechanism? SN2 mechanism. All anionic nucleophiles favor SN2 mechanism. Clear everyone? But one important thing I want to discuss here, okay? One exception is there here. An exception, okay? So what is that exception? See clearly, ammonia, NH3. Remember, ammonia is not having any negative charge. It is a neutral. So ammonia is only neutral nucleophile. It is only neutral nucleophile which can favor SN2 mechanism. So this is one important exception. Actually, I told you all anionic nucleophiles favor SN2, but exception is ammonia. Ammonia is only neutral nucleophile which can favor the SN2 mechanism. Ammonia is only neutral nucleophile which can favor the SN2 mechanism. So clear everyone? Now, one more important thing here I want to discuss is that, so see clearly, I wrote one equation. R bonded to leaving group is reacting with nucleophile in the RDS step. So here please try to understand, nucleophile attacking and leaving group departing both happens at the same time. So leaving group is departing in the RDS step only. Therefore, rate depends on the leaving ability of the leaving group also. Leaving group is also departing in the RDS step. So its leaving ability also affects the rate. So this is one important point I want to discuss here, that rate of SN2 directly proportional to leaving ability. Rate of SN2 is directly proportional to leaving ability of leaving group. Rate of SN2 is directly proportional to leaving ability of leaving group. Hope you are understanding this point. So leaving group also leaving in the RDS step. Therefore, its leaving ability also plays important role. Hope you are copying everything. Clear? Now, here in the next slide, I want to explain you what is the effect of solvent. What is the effect of solvent in SN2 mechanism? Clear? What is the role of the solvent? So I told you we have to read about the two types of solvents, that is polar protic and polar aprotic. So to make you to understand well here, I will take one reaction CH3Cl. Okay. Now when undergo SN2 mechanism in polar protic solvent like water, then what happen? CH3 plus is formed and Cl minus is formed. Why? Because polar protic solvent will do the ionization. Now, if I take same CH3Cl in presence of polar aprotic solvent like DMF, dimethyl formamide, then what happens? Polar aprotic solvents do not ionize. They do not have the tendency to ionize. Therefore, here what happens? No ionization takes place. No ionization takes place. But here you see carbocation is formed. And you know well that carbocation is intermediate. Carbocation is intermediate. But I told you in SN2, no intermediate is formed. In SN2, no intermediate is formed. That means ionization must not happen. Therefore, which solvents will favor SN2 then? Polar aprotic, but not polar protic. Remember, polar aprotic solvents favor SN2. So, no intermediate is formed in SN2. So, this is very important point here. In SN2, no intermediate. Therefore, here, let me write clearly, polar aprotic solvents. Polar aprotic solvents favor SN2 mechanism. Polar aprotic solvents favor SN2 mechanism. I hope you understood my point. In presence of polar protic solvent, what happened? Carbocation be formed. Carbocation is intermediate. But in SN2, I told you no intermediate. Therefore, polar aprotic solvents favor SN2 mechanism. Polar aprotic solvents only will favor the SN2 mechanism. Why? Because they do not cause ionization. Polar aprotic solvents do not do any ionization. Followed? Right. Now, in the next slide, now I'm going to take one reaction to explain you the SN2 mechanism. So, see clearly CH3Cl reacting with OH minus in presence of a polar aprotic solvent like DMF. Then what is the product formed here? CH3OH is formed and Cl minus is formed. This is the reaction, and here I want to explain its mechanism by SN2. I want to explain its mechanism by SN2. First copy the equation. Okay, now see the mechanism here. So what happened here, you see clearly, CH3Cl, in this way I am writing, CH3Cl. I told you, slowly leaving group will depart and nucleophile, that is OH minus, will attack on this carbon. Clear everyone? OH minus will attack on this carbon. Okay, in the RDS step. So now what happened here, try to understand my point here. So slowly leaving group will depart and slowly nucleophile OH minus will attack here. Followed, you see, this is called as the transition state. It is unstable state. Why it is unstable? See clearly. For this carbon, you see 5 bonds are there. Carbon cannot hold 5 bonds. Carbon can hold 4 bonds only. So when 5 bonds are there, it is the unstable state for carbon. Such type of unstable state is called as what? Transition state. Hope it is clear to everyone. Right? Now, here once you see, for this carbon, 3 sigma bonds are there. 1, 2, 3. So, what is the hybridization of carbon? sp2. This is one of the previous competitive examination question. Hybridization of carbon in transition state is sp2. Only 3 sigma bonds are there. But what is the shape? I think you know, for the shape, along with that 3 sigma bonds, we have to think about these two, total 5. So when 5 are there, so what is the shape? Pentagonal, bipyramidal. Shape is the pentagonal, bipyramidal, but hybridization is sp2 only. Hope it is clear to everyone. Hybridization is sp2, but shape is the pentagonal, bipyramidal. Now, what happened in the next step? Continue. Okay, so now what happened? CH3 combines with OH, then Cl minus departs out. So in this way, SN2 is a one-step mechanism. Reaction, total reaction happens in one step only. I hope it is clear to everyone. SN2 mechanism. And remember, SN2 mechanism is not yet completed till now. Okay, so now as the time is not there, so tomorrow I will continue the SN2 mechanism. But make sure that you people please read and come all these things so that tomorrow's class will be easy to you. Karthik?
Hello, sir.
So this session is completed, okay, na? Up to 10:30?
10:40, sir.
10:40, yeah?
Hi, sir.
Now, okay. So I will repeat the slides. Okay. And here, please copy all these things here, everyone. Please copy all these things quickly. Followed. Now, one more important thing is that you see, try to understand clearly here. See, here this OH minus is attacking from the back side. OH minus attacking from the back side of the leaving group. Leaving group is leaving from the front side, and OH minus attacking from the back side. So, the type of attacking from back side is called as what? Inversion. Attacking nucleophile from back side is called as the inversion. So here I will write the definition. See clearly, attacking nucleophile from the back side of the carbon bonded to leaving group is called inversion. Is called inversion. So attacking of the nucleophile from the backside of the carbon bonded to leaving group, that is called as the inversion. Nucleophile attacks from backside. Please try to understand. Right? And remember, this inversion was first observed by a scientist called Walden. Therefore, this inversion is known as what? Walden inversion. Walden is the scientist who first observed this one. Therefore, this inversion is known as the Walden inversion. Walden inversion. So in SN2, remember, in SN2, 100% inversion takes place. In SN2, 100% inversion takes place. Inversion means nucleophile will attack from the backside. Clear, everyone? Now, one more important thing I want to discuss here. Okay. Now, see clearly, everyone know. Here, I want to take this one only, CH3. Okay. Now, here, Cl plus OH minus. Now, I want to take here one more important thing, CH3, 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 Cl. Here also, I want to take the OH minus. Now, can you tell me where OH minus attacks easily from the back side? So here you see, for this carbon, only 3 small hydrogens are there. But for this carbon, you see 3 alkyl groups are there, bulky groups are there. Crowding is more at this carbon. But at this carbon, you see crowding is less. So nucleophile attacks easily at this carbon, because here crowding is less. Crowding is less at this carbon. But here what happened? Crowding is high. At this carbon, you see crowding is high. I hope you understand my point here. Clear? Therefore, nucleophile attacks easily where crowding is less. Nucleophile attacks easily where crowding is less. But nucleophile attacks difficultly where crowding is high. So in second case, you see crowding is high. So nucleophile cannot approach. This is why, because here crowding is very high. Now try to understand and tell me now, everyone, in primary, secondary and tertiary, which is less crowded? Primary. Which is more crowded? Tertiary. Therefore, in SN2, what is the order of reactivity? Primary greater than, secondary greater than, tertiary. This is the most important one. In SN2, order of reactivity: primary alkyl halides greater than secondary alkyl halides greater than tertiary alkyl halides. I think in tertiary crowding is very high. So in tertiary SN2 do not happen, remember. Okay, in tertiary SN2 never happens. Why never happens? Crowding is very high in tertiary. So rate of SN2 will be more in primary, greater than secondary, greater than tertiary. Clear, everyone? Now here I will be showing you the slides. See clearly. So this is the fourth rule I started today. Completed. Fourth rule. Example of that one. Fourth rule. Then fifth rule. Then summary of the fifth rule. Statement, what I want to say, statement of the fifth rule. Statement of the fifth rule. Then after, summary of all the rules. Summary of all the rules. Total 5 rules are there na. Here I summarized 3. Then remaining 2 here. Clear, everyone? So summary of the rules completed, I think so. Then after, types of nucleophilic substitution reactions here. SN1, SN2, SNI. Then I started SN2 mechanism here. Then after, here I explain you strong nucleophile favors SN2. Then rate of SN2 depends on what factors I told you here. Then after, energy profile diagram of SN2. Clear? Then after, what are the examples of strong nucleophiles? Clear? Then one exception of ammonia. Then after, effect of solvent in SN2. Then mechanism of SN2. And here I explained about the transition state, hybridization, shape, everything. Then here I explained about the inversion, means nucleophile attacks from the backside only. And here order of reactivity, you see here primary greater than, secondary greater than, tertiary. Clear everyone? So this is completely SN2 mechanism, and here still I told you some important things are left over in SN2 mechanism. As time is not there now, so in tomorrow class I will continue about the SN2 mechanism, but make sure that you please read all these things and come. Followed everyone? Karthik?
Sir.
Hello?
Hello, sir.
Karthik, shall I leave the meeting?
Oh, okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.